User Interface. Gwent UI. And what I would change about it. 1. Card history. So I'm sure most of you already know, but Gwent's card history is incomplete. Sometimes it will neglect showing spells that are summoned from your deck or things that are resurrected, and as a result, you get this incomplete history that if you weren't paying attention to the game and you look back at it, all of a sudden you're making the wrong assumptions based on a history that is incomplete. Also, where it shows where cards are played, it doesn't show what cards interacted with what cards. That just seems to me like a bug and will probably be fixed over time. But the card history overall has got a problem in its implementation. Aesthetically speaking, it's kind of ugly. Now, who have we seen that's done card history right? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Hearthstone? What Hearthstone does right with card history can be broken down into 3 things. First, arrows. Why say something in words when pointing will do? 2, color coordination. Blue is good, red is bad. If a blue thing happened to a card, it's a buff. If a red thing happened to a card, it's an attack or damage or a negative status effect. Every other bit of information can be gleaned from the cards themselves. And 3, and perhaps the most overlooked aspect of Hearthstone's card history design, it dulls the background so that the cards stand out onto the foreground. This is good for aesthetics, it's good for readability, and if you just take those components and implement it however you want into Gwent, just arrows, colors, and cards that pop on screen, then you've got an excellent card history. Also, if you'd like to make an improvement over Hearthstone's design, having the ability to scroll down would be excellent in card history. Hearthstone only lets you see the most recent turns, so if you were AFK, you could probably figure out what went on, but it doesn't let you scroll back to, say, the beginning of the game. I've always hated game mechanics that punish people for a finite memory, and I don't know why we wouldn't have a more interesting, more rich card game if everyone was given all the information, and then, with that information, are allowed to make the best possible decision. 2, card borders. Gwent's square card design's really grown on me, and I really like the way they make the cards look. I like the way they look when they're zoomed in, but when they're on the board, the card borders are not prominent enough. Sometimes you might conflate a gold border for a silver border, or a silver border for a bronze, and this matters if you're counting cards and really paying attention to what's going on. This could be clarified with just a slightly more prominent color or a slightly thicker border, and it would completely get rid of this problem. 3, squelch. So for people who get triggered or distracted by emotes, the squelch option is a great idea in any game. The problem is, in Gwent, there's no way to just permanently turn it on. There should be an option or something that's either on the screen or can be found if you dig through the option menu that will let you permanently squelch your opponent. Because the problem is, if you're playing a lot of games, you're not going to remember to squelch every time, even if you are one of the people who gets distracted or bothered, and then somebody's going to freaking emote at you and you're going to get pissed. Simple box, mute button. 4, game boards. Look, I know you're thinking game boards, you're thinking I want all the bells and whistles in Hearthstone. No, that's like attention deficit disorder shit. I have absolutely no interest in that. What I do have interest in is seeing an aesthetic change to the game board. Yes, they just made it more visible, more easy for you to interact with and see, and for all pragmatic purposes, the game board is fine. But what it needs is something that talks to the Witcher aesthetic. Every single Witcher game has engendered all kinds of amazing Witcher art, whether that's really drab fantasy art, set in this dark world that The Witcher takes place in, or art inspired from things like Witcher 3, which are very colorful, that paint with a full palette of colors, and still maintain an aesthetic that feels Witcher. And nothing about the current game board feels like that to me. If I was to start somewhere on making a game board, even if there was just going to be one game board in Gwent, I would start with the Witcher 2 dice game. That had a really cool dark aesthetic. Why not make the first Gwent board based on that? It would be a great throwback, and I'm sure fans of the series would appreciate it. Number 5, make it feel real. Once again, I want to look back at Hearthstone for this, because if any game does it right, if any game's design speaks to the tangibility of cards, to the fact that a good card game should pay homage to the fact that cards are something you hold in your hand. The way cards move, the way cards are placed onto the field, even the cute little effects cards have. If you have a 8/8 and you drop it on the board, it smashes the board, right? Because it feels powerful when you play it. Now, yes, I realize real cards don't break the board, but it's a good effect and it's delivery, and it makes the card feel like it has weight, it has value, it's a real thing. Anything that adds more of that to Gwent will improve the overall aesthetic of the game and will improve just players' enjoyment. When I say improve players' enjoyment, I mean at like a subconscious level. Like you enjoy that stuff. Like you enjoy seeing your big card hit the field, and things like that get people enthralled to play the game. 6. A concede button. So when I play Gwent, I sit. And when I sit, well, I sit a little dangerous. I've broken probably upward of 30 chairs in my life from the way I sit on them. Countless chair corpses lay at my feet. And the problem is, when I'm losing a game at Gwent, I have to sit up to concede. Because there's no concede button on the screen, nothing I can click with my mouse that lets me concede. Look, it's bad enough that I've lost. Do not make me sit up. I'm SixthSaga, and today marks the start of 30 days of constant content, so if you want to see that, please subscribe. And if you'd like to see some more Gwent content, check out this video here. Or if you want to see some other stuff, you know, there's that video over there. See you next time.